Very warm welcome, everyone. Hello and good afternoon. Guests, faculty.
I think we should start now. Yeah.
Am I audible? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
A very warm welcome. Good afternoon, everyone. Happy Saturday. Glad to have you here as part of our Grandmaster series. Today we are joined by retired Major Group Captain Anoop K. Chebrol, sir. Very warm welcome, sir. Thanks for taking the time today. This session is, I think, fourth in series of our Grandmaster series, where we are bringing the industry pioneers in Indian healthcare and medtech with students of IIHMR faculty and broader healthcare community in one of its own type of event. And today's topic is unique in itself as a China+1. What's Indian MedTech strategy in playing in this very dominated space, where our speaker today, Anoop sir, he has been a distinguished figure in the healthcare, moving from Indian Air Force background, striving for that commitment of excellence and quality and making great strides in the healthcare industry with MedTech. Anoop sir has led his notable success, especially in medical devices, and made Transcath a major pioneer in this space. So without further ado, I'll hand it over to Anoop sir to share more about his journey, his success, and his lessons on this space. A very warm welcome.
Thank you, Raghav. Thank you for the kind words. Thanks to all, Dr. Chibber. We had a special meeting yesterday, and Manish ji and Dr. Pankaj, thanks for giving me an opportunity to talk a bit about what I've been doing here. First of all, I'll apologize. I won't be able to talk on macro issues when in front of Dr. Chibber and Dr. Manish and Dr. Pankaj. Macro issues I don't understand so much. So I'll not talk about billions of dollars, macro GDP and all those things. What I want to talk from my point of view is that I've transitioned from the Indian Air Force and set up a manufacturing facility, and I'm on ground zero. From scratch, I've learned everything from scratch, right from scratch, right? A complete shift of domain. I just want to share my experience with you all, how we could construct and what takeaways we could get from the environment, from the industry colleagues and regulatory space. Having said that, a few words on my background. I'm an ex-alumni of National Defense Academy, Kadakasla. I'm sure most of you all know that. After training, I've joined the Indian Air Force as a helicopter pilot. Extensive training, been all through, flown most of the areas, mostly in the northern sector, Ladakh, and also I had an opportunity to interact with a lot of people. And I came out, took a voluntary retirement in 2016, and wanted to do something different with my second career, and then this is the space I landed up in. So the journey has been exceptional, like I would say, not without its own pitfalls and the tough days and all that, but it's been exceptional, and we've been able to create a product for the first time in India right from scratch, because most of the product which we are manufacturing, the catheters, central venous lines and dialysis catheters, have been predominantly imported from Chinese 80%, and then rest is from the European markets. So my background I've not shared because of I don't want to brag, but a few things a soldier from a military background gets across when it moves into domains. I'm sure most of you have experienced it. I just wanted to share. First thing is, it's a unique shaping in the Air Force, that Air Force Armed Forces rather. You never give up. That's the first quality which you get imbibed, you get trained, you get kicked around. So you never give up. The question is the famous quote, Arya Par. There's no retreat. You just have to move forward, whatever way you are. The second thing which we bring across is the leadership is always from the front. It is never from any kind of boardroom or something. It is on the trenches, right in the beginning, right in front. Third is a lot of us, we have traveled quite a lot, and then we love the nation, and more importantly, phenomenal empathy for the countrymen. So when I stepped into healthcare, I bring a lot of understanding of various places, various people whom I have interacted with, and then understanding and celebration of diversity. These are the core things which I transferred from a military life to a civilian manufacturing life. Now, having said that, what exactly we wanted to do is that I've been armed forces. We used to study a lot on this capability, military capability of China. There are a lot of naysayers, and they say, "Oh, no, we can't compete. Can't do this, can't do that." However, we had our own understanding of how much we can do, how much we can push, how much we can prevail on a lot of things, including the Chinese and the other adversary we had. So getting it to that, when we studied the industry and the healthcare space, the very amusing times when 2016, when I came out, I remember a story on people shunning Chinese products. There were cheap Chinese products, but good, very well-made products. But because it's Chinese, I don't carry any animosity towards, so to say, for the Chinese. They make exceptional products. That is the first thing we need to recognize. We recognize it first. Then, having said that, then we went around and checked out what is the space we can get in with a limited amount of resources, limited amount of capital, and try to make a difference in this healthcare space. In this search, we homed in on the most commonly used consumable, apart from the IV catheters, are the central venous lines and the dialysis lines, which are, to my shock, I found that it is 100% imported, 100% completely. We have market leaders here for the past 20 years. All have been happy just importing from China, packaging it, rebranding it, and pushing it into the market. So we felt that, yes, if this is one space where we can attack, reason being, it is slightly more complex than a common IV catheter, IV lines which we make here. And no one has ever done it, or people who have done it didn't have the patience or the perseverance enough to actually carry it through. So we chose this field, and the first thing when I put together a team of ex-service guys and a couple of engineers, all new, mind you, no one had any experience of manufacturing before. When I put through, we said when we could land my only words always were when we could when we could send a probe to moon, I'm sure we can do all these things. There's nothing stopping us. So we selected this catheters as a case for us to see how we didn't want to see, we wanted to succeed. So the heavy dependence and large Chinese presence and no manufacturing in India were the major things which we considered and entered this. So what did we do? My experience has been we assembled a team of ex-service people and engineers. No prior experience at all. This is where I really have to give credit to one particular company who really stood by us, is Realisys Medical Devices. Naveen Rajpal, I don't know whether he's on the forum now. Great friend, excellent mentor, and always a yes for anything. We approached them, we spoke with them, a lot of learning. There's a huge learning curve. Huge. I just transitioned from, and I didn't even understand what it is. We all transitioned and we set up the thing. We tried to learn the technology, how it goes, dissected it, then built up an R&D team. Slowly we started pulling out a prototype, and once the prototype succeeded, we went forward to set up a production facility. My experience has been absolutely agonizing experience of at every stage. So we set it up in 2016-17, and the first regulatory approvals after R&D, after detailed R&D we did, and we got the product right, the right aesthetics, the right flow rates, the right materials. It was into 2019, end of 2019 and 2020. So we struggled for 4 years, just put in the capital, and then COVID hit. So the only thing which we as a team kept together was we need to succeed. Then, like I said, I bring in you can call it a stubbornness or stupidity or foolishness, that there is no turning back. You have to push forward. So we could succeed in getting all these things, the technology, the understanding of what is a facility, how the facility comes through, what are the machinery, how the regulatory regime works. Most of it, a bit of help here, a bit of help there, all novices. We didn't have a team which had prior experience. So we put through all these things and actually got through the first phase of the catheters. The first catheter we brought through, and we got our licenses. And then COVID hit. Of course, slowly we started putting it in the market. The idea was, when we started, so the core values which we embedded into this business was, there is no substitute for excellence. So we recognize, like I said before, we recognize that the Chinese make an excellent product. If they are dominating the market today, the product is excellent. So there is no substitute. You just cannot get in with a substandard product and expect to be market leaders in this. So the first thing was excellence in the product. Two, no shortcuts, no compromises, no quality shortcuts. To be sure, to my shock, I found that the first thing we found out was the granules which are used for these plastics are not manufactured anywhere. There's only 1 or 2 companies in the world who do it. We had to import them. So we imported the medical grade granules, USP6. Most of the people understand in this field, but we had to import them. We put them together. So the product was absolutely perfect. Only then we went in for the regulatory approvals and the marketing process. So now the process, once we started moving the process, there was a huge. There's not much to innovate in a product like this. All the stalwarts here who are listening to me, I'm sure they agree with me. There's not much to innovate. It's a product which most of the companies have been manufacturing outside in US and Europe and China have been manufacturing for the past 30 years. So once the excellence was taken care of, when the product was exceptional with the USP6 completely medical grade, the second biggest challenge for us was how to make it cost effective. Now, when I say cost effective, I'm not. My goal was not to push something similar. It had to be at a cost, priced into the market lesser than the Chinese ex-factory pricing. This was the target. So, and capital was limited. I put in most of my savings. I'll come to the finance part of it later. So we had to innovate on the processes, start slowly, a lot of trials, errors, local manufacturing help, local hubs. We went around. We went to all areas trying to find Indian products, Indian machinery, wherever we could find. We used to get a lot of options to import a machine from either China or Europe. We scored all around. I am happy to say that barring one machine in our factory, everything is Indian completely. So first choice we used to go for anything we wanted to set up was Indian. So the processes which were involved in this catheter was complex. Once we started getting involved in this process, we realized that wow, this is the reason why no one had the perseverance. We had to spend 4 years to do this. Without our handicap was we didn't have any experience, we didn't have anything. We had to hit and trial, keep at it. There were days and nights when we spent on the machines continuously. So this was the first challenge and the biggest challenge for any small manufacturing team with no prior experience, no major support system, is to keep the hope going, keep the Josh going, as they say. So that's where the leadership, we had to sit down and keep talking to the people. Now I'm sure most of the people who are involved in manufacturing would realize that the margin of error in these kind of catheters. Right now, we are doing the catheter diameters are 0.8 mm. That the inner diameters. The margin for error in each process where the tubing has to be. We are talking of error margins of 0.02 mm, 0.02 mm. Anything beyond that, we have to reject. So we had to really work on it. We had a lot of offers from major international companies to work out the tubing and extrude the tubing and get it to us. Surprisingly, they were not willing to even accept or even consider anything less than 0.05. So when we insisted 0.02, they were shocked. They said, no, we just cannot do it at the rates you want. So the first challenge was to get this complexities of the process and the manufacturing process and keep it cost effective in such a way that we can manage to get a product out at the costs which are absolutely affordable and even better than the Chinese. That is where I can say we have succeeded in succeeded in a mission which we wanted to prove that yes, we can do it here. Which if a small team like us can do it, I'm sure most of the people who are well entrenched in these systems can actually achieve it. Once once the process is there, I would like to talk a bit about the resources which we had to. When I talk of resources, all of us understand the human resources, the tech, and the financial resources. One of the major achievements of Transcath has been the human resources. The entire production team and the team is an average age of 22. We just picked up freshers, we spent time with them, we trained them, we sat with them. Freshers out of ITI institutes, just normal technical training. Freshers out of B Pharma, who we trained them on quality. We sat with them. I personally spend time every day with them, and amazing. If we are standing tall in this market today, and we can challenge Vigon with a product similar to theirs or better than theirs at pediatric ranges. The entire credit goes to this team of young people, completely young. No one would have even heard of a 22-year-old production manager forecasting production challenges, forecasting the process challenges with varied lines. We run around for different lines. We got around 9 to 10 lines which run simultaneously, and with minimal manpower, with minimal human resources, with just young people. We have been able to achieve it just because we could spend time with them and explain to them. Our quality control young guy, he just doesn't let anything go without he being satisfied 200%. So there's a lot of work goes into this kind of building a team, production team, which actually roots for excellence. This was one of the major challenges, and this is where we could manage to break through at a very exceptional level. Now, what is needed, what we found that Manishji, Dr. Chebrol, they all tell us about the demographic dividends and all. We found it practically here. We could just get young kids, get into the system, spend time with them, and they can produce amazing results. If this is the case for a small team like ours, I'm sure India is in safe hands. In manufacturing, someone just has to step forward and start taking the bull by the horns, and we can achieve tremendous progress in this. So the only way we could manage this human resource issues was I still sit with them. I still sit with them only for the reason that to hold the hands when the failures, too many failures happen in process. They spend a lot of time. So our leadership model is just hold the hands. We own the failures. We give credit to their successes to them. So a simple model of extreme ownership we built into the team, and uh, I'm amazed at the kind of response we get, and young, dynamic youth. Most of the people why we went into these young people, we spoke to a lot of experienced people, experienced MBAs and all who have worked in the healthcare sector. So the first fundamental problem was that they had tremendous entrenched mindsets of and they believed in themselves that the Chinese are superior to us. The Chinese we just cannot achieve it. So the entire landscape when we spoke to a lot of experienced people, first thing is that nahi ho sakta. So the first thing I used to get why it cannot be done. So I used to ask them, you tell me how it can be done. So it cannot be done. The second biggest challenge was more the engineering, more the backgrounds. We found a lot of youngsters mostly enamored by the valuation in finances. They only want billion-dollar companies, billion-dollar valuation. I met a young innovator who said, I want to make it billion-dollar company. I want to take it to $1 billion. I asked him, what is the product? How is it going to help the market? How is it going to help the healthcare facilities? No, this is not the criteria. We need to make it $1 billion company. So somewhere down the line, we have lost I feel, I am not sure, we lost the plot of healthcare we are building on valuation models of making more and more profits and all, but we are not being able to translate into products where healthcare can be affordable and we can reduce the import reliance. I'm not sure our eminent more other people more knowledgeable in this would like to just ruminate over this. This was a major issue wherever we talked to most people who had so we had no option. One, we didn't have the capital to hire the big guns. Two, we were willing to spend our time, our energy, our lives in bringing up a small team with youngsters, and we chose the latter, and we have been successful. And you'll be surprised to know that in the months, in the coming months, we are going to launch a 24 gauge and 3 French double lumen catheters, which only Vigon is the only world ruler in this, and we are going to challenge them. And we can put it at a pricing which is unbelievable. The second biggest challenge, resource challenge, was the tech resource. We just didn't, when you enter like I do, I did when from a different domain, very difficult to understand the dynamics of tech, the machinery available. So we struggled a lot. We spoke to a lot of people, a lot of expertise. I went everywhere, spoke to a lot of people. So most of the choices were capital intensive. So we had to make a choice everywhere to see the capital, the limited capital to be utilized in the best possible way, which everyone does of course. But this was a real challenge because we were facing and trying to take the Chinese head on the pricing while taking the European and Americans head on the quality. Chinese also make a fantastic quality product, but wherever we went, there are a lot of doctors, a lot of healthcare professionals, and then we only want arrow. So we keep telling them, see, you give us a try. So there's a lot of mindset built into the system in the Indian psyche that an Indian manufacturer just cannot manufacture anything of quality. So so I don't blame them. That's the way it is. I'm sure, and most of you would agree with me. That's the mindset we have. So we had to be 400% sure of the quality and 400% sure of the cost effectiveness. In that we had to work harder and harder and harder to get the tech process right, to get a good product out. The last resource problem is well known. It's a finance issue. Capital in this kind of small ventures is a micro venture. I'm sure for the kind of capital we are working with, most of you buy flats worth more than that. In Delhi and Gurgaon, the flats are costing more than what we are working with. So we put in our savings, personal loans. The only, there's a lot of talk about Make in India, this, that, MSME. And from personal experience, I can tell you that no one wants to touch a small industry with any capital. Zero. So everyone, our mindset is about somehow put in the money and 3 taka, 4 taka, 2 taka, that's our calculation. So we found that capital was very hard to come by. So we just stuck to our savings, a bit of personal loans here and there, and we stuck to the task. The next area where we just had to wade through was the regulatory landscape. Amazing landscape. Yesterday, Dr. Chebrol enlightened us. We had a very interesting talk, and Manishji, we keep talking a lot of things. Amazing maze. Now it is clearing. A lot of it is clearing. But unfortunately, if you are actually entering this, no one knows what to do. So we used to go to everyone. You tell us. We used to tell us what is the right way to do. Just tell us the right way. We'll follow the right way. You tell me. You want me process A, B, C, and D. It will be process A, B, C, and D. Nothing else. To my surprise, not a single consultant, not a single person could actually advise you on the right way. The first thing you come up with is what is the shortcut for this? So how do you cut corners on this? How do you cut corners on that? So that was the first major challenge, to find the right way. There's no document. We read a lot of documents. Very interesting. So we actually approached the regulatory people. In fact, I walked into the director's office, state regulatory. I saluted him. I said, sir, I'm here. I just don't know how to go about this. Why don't you? I need some guidance. He guided me for whatever time he could. But the problem is the regulatory guys are so overwhelmed with their own load that they just can't spend time with small industries like us. So this was one of the biggest challenges in this entire process. We slowly we embraced that. We went across. We had multiple audits, multiple surprise visits. Recently, we had a flying surprise visit of around 8 regulatory inspectors landing on a small facility, and then going through every inch of every process, every documentation and all. So they were surprised that they couldn't find anything major. So we said, we welcome you. You tell us what to do. If you find something, you tell us. Next time you come, it will be done. So there was tremendous amount of help we received from the people who audited us. I'm amazed, actually. We had drug inspectors and all. We just walked up to them. We said, see, we don't know anything. We are trying to do the best here, and we are pitted against all odds. So please help us. So most of the time, we got great tips how to do the right way. So this was one of the major challenges in Indian regulatory landscape, is that no one seems to actually understand or willing to go do the right things the right way. That is the biggest advantage of when you, I'm sure you, that is why most of the people feel that an Indian manufacturer is just there, somewhere there, he'll cut corners, do this, do that. And there is evidence for that kind of behavior. But in the process, we get someone like us, we get slaughtered in this. So this is one of the major regulatory process which we encountered. Apart from this, despite all this, the perseverance is what kept us going. We have been and constant innovation, constant R&D, continuously trying to get products. If we started with one product, it took us 4 years. In the next 3 years, we've added at least 8 products, 8 different variants. We stand, I'm proud to say on behalf of my team, we stand amongst the 5 major manufacturers in the world today. Not India. India doesn't manufacture these products in the world. You take the names can be counted on your fingers. So this is the overview on the story of Transcath, how we went through. So a few points which I had, I wanted to just put across on the way forward. If we really, when we talk of China+1 landscape, we really need to have more manufacturing soldiers on the ground. We just cannot do a superficial thing. We need people on the ground to manufacture. If we don't get that, we will never be able to. Chinese did that 2 decades ago, and I think a decade or a decade and a half ago, and then they are there, and they make phenomenal products. I'm sure a country which has landed as probe on the moon, these are very small things. So the second biggest challenge for us is to move away from this huge valuation mindset. Every guy I met, every finance people I speak to, the only thing they can think of is valuation, EBITDA valuation. No one has ever talked to me, what is the product? Is the product good, bad? How do we take it forward? So this is the biggest, second biggest challenge. I don't know how we can move. We are all impressed by billions and billions of dollars, this valuation, that valuation. The core lies in manufacturing on the product. Are we doing enough to get the product, or are we happy just picking it up from China, packaging it here, putting it out, get a good EBITDA and a valuation? I think the choice is in front of us, all of us, for us to see. The third thing is that there's an ecosystem which is, there's a phenomenal ecosystem if we actually step out and are willing to brave the heat and the dust of the Indian cities. My manufacturing setup is in Hyderabad. We've got a phenomenal small ecosystem for every die, every mold which we want to make, machining we want to do. We don't need to invest everything within our facility. We walk up. So the more mushrooming of these kind of manufacturing soldiers, this ecosystem gets. So we used to go and sit with them. A simple example I can talk about ecosystem. A simple die for which the tipping of the catheter is done. I spoke to multiple people. They said, no, you just import it. The only machining can be done only in the US. A die for which we were quoted around $1,500 one die, and then no trial. It comes here, it will make it to your specs, and then if the specs don't match, if the tubing is slightly bigger, smaller, you're dead. That door. We sat with the local ecosystem, we made the die, we made the polishing, we sat with them, we explained to them what we need, what is excellence. They were shocked actually. They could do it, but they said no one actually insisted on this kind of pure excellence, that there's no compromise on this. And you will not believe, after multiple iterations, seeing the cost of the die for a small die, we could complete it under 10,000 rupees, not dollars. This is the kind of ecosystem we've got. This is the kind of expertise we've got spread all over the country in small pockets here, there. I've been all over Ludhiana. The people are so enterprising. They're willing to work. You just have to sit with them and give them a vision, what you need and how it's going to affect. And I'm telling you, this landscape is still unexplored. We just want quick solutions, quick imports, quick assemblies. We just don't look after our own ecosystem. Then the other biggest way forward is that we need more people like Relisys, or rather, to please adopt small companies. We just need guidance. Most of the time, we don't need much. something we get stuck, we need to be able to reach out to someone, talk to someone, understand how the process goes. If most of the major companies in this country can do a bit of this kind of interface with the lower, with a smaller micro segment, I'm telling you, this country can do wonders. Now, the major takeaways from this is that in front of you. So, what can we have the slide back, please? The previous slide. So, after all this effort, I'm proud to say, I've already stated before that we have Transcath has emerged as the only actual manufacturers of the entire range of catheters in India. So we get the granules, import the granules because there's no producer of granules here, US-specific medical grade. We import them. From there, the entire process is out here in Hyderabad. We have joined the exclusive club of manufacturers that now when I talk the clinical outcomes and aesthetics of European and American, we could match them. Most of the cases we could surpass them. Pricing, I've already explained. There's another major takeaway. We can beat the Chinese in the pricing. I've been told a million times by people that it cannot be done. I'm proving to you that it can be done. It is on record. It is available. People can walk in, check it out, and then you can see. Can we move forward, please? Demographic dividend is one such word which we hear so often. I have been fortunate enough to see actually in practice the youth exceptional. We don't need high education. We just need to be able to guide them, and they produce. They are there for you to take this country to the next level. Are we engaging with them enough into this field, into these areas? What we need to, Transcath can be taken as a major example as a major takeaway also. Youth's resilience and ability to produce world-class products is amazing, amazing. I think with these takeaways, I'll come to the conclusion. So for all those young and people who want to come in, I've just borrowed a very famous quote from Churchill. Manufacturing anywhere, and especially in India, is just pure blood, toil, and tears. There's nothing else. So, but being a part of this nation's capacity building is worth every minute of it. I don't regret even a single minute. My young team, all below 25 years of age, they don't regret it. They look forward to every challenge. We throw at them, we get the product, we say, can we do this? They say yes. First thing is yes. They just try to find the processes. They go, they run to the die makers, the designers, and all. So this is in a nutshell, this is what Transcath is all about. And if I can only say that if you could achieve this with a small team, small capital, and small technical expertise, I'm sure this country can do much, much, much more with the kind of great manufacturing facilities all around the country. Thank you for patient listening. This is what we are. I just spoke from my heart. I'm happy to take any questions if you have any.
No, absolutely, sir. Thanks a lot for sharing this amazing story and so many learnings and insights coming out of the journey you have taken. I would now maybe open the forum for questions for people to share their comments, questions. I know Dr. Rajiv Chebrol, you put some thoughts there. Please go ahead.
Sir, an excellent talk, and congratulations. I think we need more transcatheters in India. We need more and more people to actually look out of the way and out of the box also to come out with something very new and very innovative. I had two thoughts around this. One is I completely agree with you on the part where you spoke about the ecosystem. I think the Chinese developed the ecosystem very early. And then they robustly, in fact, made investments to have the ecosystem up and running at a larger pace. What we've done in India, while, like yesterday also, I talked about the PLI scheme, the MedTech parks that we have here. Unfortunately, there is a political thought around this, but the execution and the infrastructure is still, way beyond. The 4 medical devices parks that have been announced by the government are still in a real estate, mode. We don't have any manufacturing there. We don't have even companies set up there. So I think we are going to take time, but slowly and slowly, it will be a systematic change. Our logistics needs to also move forward. One thing that I want to kind of like ask you is, the entire globe now has a China+1 policy. Why? We know that they did great investments, whether these were US or European companies initially moving to China to make investments because of low manpower, because of fast manufacturing and all. But then equally we had Chinese companies also moving out and trying to um, trying to steal TOTs, technologies, or transfer of technologies, and then coming up with their own versions of these innovations or these low cost technologies that they're bringing. Why has that been a stickler when it comes to the entire globe making a China+1 policy?
I I think from our side, we have the capability, but we just been able to lull ourselves into a system where we feel that yes, they could do it, but we can't do it. So it is not really more of investment. I feel that it's a question of self-belief, a lot of self-belief. An interesting anecdote on MedTech device park, how it works. Incidentally, Dr. Rajiv, I would have been a neighbor to you. I was allotted the first one of the first allottees of the park.
Exactly.
So when the roads were made, and we went to the powers that be and said, when is the infrastructure going to develop? Because I need to make a product. So I have not met a single person who was interested in the product. Everyone said, "Arey, land सस्ते में मिल रहा है, ले लो."
No, that is a mistake. I am also the advisor to the UP government and MP government, and I told them very, very clearly, we are not going to give any support, any industry coming over to your medtech park if you treat it as a real estate chunk of land. We don't want that to be happening.
Absolutely. I think eventually it came up very well. It was right also because probably we overreached. For a small startup with a limited capital, we just couldn't have been able to manage, because we would have spent all our energies in building a small facility as opposed to putting the products out. All the guys were there. They got their license. They got their facilities up and running with huge capital investment. And finally, I think the facilities were running in 2017, 2020 or thereabouts. And we had a
19,
product.
19, most of the factories started. 19, in fact, it was inaugurated. Most of the factories started. In fact, we also moved in. SMT also moved in. We now have Asia's largest facility. But we moved in almost like in 2018, 2019, we had everything done. Today, if you look at the facility, it's great. My question is, when we talk about China+1, the entire world, after almost like 15, 1.5 or 2 decades, has moved towards a path where everyone is creating a China+1 policy. There is something now which is denting security, which is denting data, which is denting credibility. We had memes also on WhatsApp where President Xi and Prime Minister Modi sitting, and Prime Minister Modi telling भाई नाम तो तेरा बहुत है, माल तेरा चलता 2 दिन नहीं है. And this has happened. They've become bad disruptors of markets. I've gone personally to the EAM, to Jaishankar sir. I've gone personally to him to tell him that now they're moving so badly into the LATAM market that they've crashed these prices of stents from what it used to be $752 to now almost $407. 407.
Yeah. So that's where I think, why can't we do it? That's what my question is always when I look at it.
The problem is that like companies, I don't want to name companies here. I mean, there have been companies who have come in, who have given low tenders, who have given Chinese products into it. People went, or hospitals went to these companies, and there were deaths to numbers.
Yeah, I know. There's a lot of
Sir, I've
things.
I've again lived in a fuzzy environment. My dad's an IPS. My my Saga Chacha retired as Major General. My Fufaji was Air Commodore. So, we lived in,
Yeah, in
we
a
saw
different
how
environment completely. Yeah.
yeah. And I've seen how even armaments, Chinese armaments versus, your French and German armaments, it's a huge difference, sir.
Huge difference. See, I'm sure you are aware that most of the Chinese, everything is not low quality. When they supply to the Western side, they do a beautiful product out of it. Even Indian market, in my segment, I can tell you that the product is very good. So only thing is that I was like at the beginning I was chatting. You have a regulatory landscape which says we will raid your factories at the drop of a hat and
That's a
go
different
process, and you don't you just let the Chinese importers get away with just a PDF documentation. So then we suffer. So we asked. There are very big hospitals here who their state governments are putting though MSME clauses are there. They put a demanding clause of CE for their products in India. So there was a person I had to actually argue with him. I said, why do you need a CE in India? We are regulated by the medical device regulatory body here, CEDESCO. I've got a regulatory license. I've got all the audits done. So why do you need a CE? So the issue is that they just the clauses are so difficult to navigate. You have state governments taking the Chinese products for some pecuniary benefits. But then, of course, the fight never ends. That's how it is. So I have no I have no animosity to the system or the environment. I understand it well. My only thing is that just put a head down like a bull and keep pushing forward. There's no other way. There's no other way.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
That's very insightful discussion here around regulatory dynamics. I would couple on that with the more like something in control in terms of quality. And sir, you mentioned very interesting point around hiring a lot of young talent and non-traditional, non-tech kind of recruitment system that you hired from ITIs and all. So how did you achieve that quality standards? What was the challenges in the onboarding, and what would your advice be to other companies that how do you get to that same level of onboarding and really train the new folks with that?
So the entire team which works with us are ITIs. ITIs is the basic technical qualification, and with a bit of B Pharma and chemists and all. They're all fresh out of college. So what the first thing we tell them is that we show them the catheter, we show them a video and say, see, this is the catheter which goes into the body, and tomorrow, God forbid, someone in your own family will have to use it. So if this catheter goes out in a packaging, this has to be of the higher standards. And the standards we define, we take the examples of leading manufacturers. We have the catheters with us. We show them. We said this standard cannot be lowered at all at any cost. So once that alignment comes in, and the young people, most of the tech hands at the lowest end are very good with their technical skills. They adapt quickly, small things, tipping, small skewing, injection moldings, very minute products, micro products and all. They adapt quickly. So next level of adaptation is that for lack of a mentoring system within their circuits, within their social backgrounds, they need a bit of hand-holding. that is where we come in. That's where we stand with them. For most of the time, I don't even remember an instance where I had to actually shout at a young person for making a mistake. I always call him and say, mistakes hona zaruri hai. This is what we are here for. If we don't make mistakes, we will never learn. So we keep learning. So this is not a process which we perfected the first day. It evolved over 4, 5, 6, 7 years. So slowly, one by one, each process we perfected. The young people. Then there's a turnaround also. The kids, they get homesick. They go back. They don't want to work, and they come back after a while. Then after 4, 5 months, they say we want to come back to work. So we keep a open policy. The payments, the food we serve, home cooked food, we get it done. A lot of things, very minute things. Probably these are all things which we do when we fight in the armed forces. When we have our forces, when we have our teams with us, it is all for one and one for all. So whether you're an officer, whether you're the lowest level, everyone works for each other. So that is what right at the beginning I said. I bring that ethos directly into this system. Anyone could walk in, they can challenge me. There were times when someone would come in very hot-headed and say, "No, you're wrong." I take it. I'm never actually. I say no problem. As long as you're shouting at me because you love Transcath and you love the product, you need to make a better product. I'm okay. You're not shouting at Anoop. So, and when I shout, I don't shout. So we don't have those kind of altercations. But generally, they come in. They say, "Sir, ये आप बोल रहे हैं ऐसा नहीं होगा." So कैसा होगा? Okay, बताओ. We sit with them. Probably we'll take 2 or 3 days. Then eventually we explain to them why it cannot. What is the larger picture of it? Whether we need to do it this way or that way. There's a lot of process. Solidification takes place by human interaction. That's why I said human resource. Dr. Pankaj will be able to vouch for it that there is no substitute to human interaction. You just cannot do automation. You can have the best capital, the biggest billion-dollar capital. There are companies in this country try to get a technology transfer for the same product. They fail because eventually the small things which happen at the level of the human, they couldn't transfer it. You can't transfer the mind of that guy into this. You can't transplant it. You have to be there, do it, and learn it. So that's probably the biggest takeaway which I had. It was a revelation to myself. I didn't know that we can do this with this kind of workforce, and I'm amazed. And I'm telling you, Dr. Pankaj will be able to tell us better. Most of the people who are heading universities and all, amazing youth. I'm shocked, and I'm really simply amazed. And thank them.
Absolutely. I think we have a question from MKG. MKG, do you want to unmute and ask the question?
Hi, am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Sir, first of all, congratulations, sir. My name is Manoj Kumar.
Thank you.
I'm actually also a cost accountant. So out of the presentation you made, I've picked out a few things. Over the years, I've also been involved with studying this India-China dynamic. Okay, many things are matching, just that we don't get our act together. So a couple of industries I was involved in, and I've also been on quick missions to China just to study what is so different about them that we just are not able to catch up. So in that context, just wanted to ask you, I saw that slide where you said, it's amazing, sir. First of all, congratulations to have achieved that.
Thank you.
And I love this point you made about human resources. I am completely with you. The power of our youth is yet to be really realized or tapped. Somebody needs to invest in them. It's very clear you've done that. Okay. And my question was, you said your prices, you're first of all one of the top 5 global players. Secondly, your prices are below China. That's amazing. Could you just give some more insights on, was it through some comparative study and you positioned yourself, or was it just an evolution of your efforts? Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you for the kind words. So far as pricing goes, it's in we just consciously we studied the initial figures of what is the market and what kind of pricing which is going into the market. So we didn't say that we'll somehow give some discounts. We don't have deep pockets. I cannot just in most of the cases we don't give any promotional amount. Most of the cases wherever we sell. We just cannot. It's just such a small micro outfit. So we studied. Our conscious effort, the evolution, the effort, as you rightly said, it was evolving. Our effort was to, at every stage, for us, 1,000 rupees matters. I don't know any industry which can say that. I'm not ashamed to say that. For us, when we spend 1,000 rupees, we check 200 times whether it is really required. Are we making any difference? Can we get it lesser? Every product, every component we are making. That's the first thing. Next is that when we do this kind of exercise in extreme cost control, we need to look after the ecosystem, downstream ecosystem. I'm not looking at the upstream ecosystem. So we ensure that our small bits and pieces players, the guys who are polishing the die, the guys who are making machining, they are paid instantly. We just don't let them suffer.
Amazing.
Instantly. We just don't let them suffer. There were times when I apologize to them because I missed out on a payment to them. So the lower side, we just don't let them suffer. We say these are the guys who are our strength. We don't. Unfortunately, when you look at the rest of the ecosystem, the upper side doesn't work like this. So when we deal with the major players who want OEM contracts and all, they are the worst defaulters in any kind of payments, including the governments. So
Correct.
They make us run around. They want a lot of other promotional facilities. So the biggest industries, they try to squeeze the hell out of you just to get their margins better.
Right.
So that is the bane of this country. We are a trader country where we don't want to live and let live. We just want to live and let die. End of story. We had to withhold a big order for a big major distributor who's an international distributor present all over the world. He won't pay a rupee, but wants to pick up the entire order without any guarantee of any payment. We had to just stop the order. There was tremendous pressure. Everyone called up. We said, see, we are a small company. If we don't get paid for big orders, my entire capital gets blocked in this. So I found the response at the downstream end when we deal with them much better is phenomenal. I'm telling you, this machining small die, which is costing so much in the if you import it and pay import duties and all, it would have landed up here with around probably $1,800 to $2,000. And these young people in the market, they've worked, we sat with them, we continuously work with them. We have mastered it now. So we can just, whatever tubing we get, we are not worried about whether we'll get the die or not. Otherwise, for every kind of catheter, we need to run to the Americans. That guy will quote, last time he quoted 1,000, he said this time $1,500 USD. There's no question. So that's where the difference was. When I say human resource, it's not purely in terms of my workforce. It is how we deal with the rest of the ecosystem, which I found drastically lacking. I'm not sure about the Chinese. I'm sure they have a much better ethos, I would say, ethos in dealing with the rest of the system. I'm not sure. I won't be able to tell you. I've always seen the other side of the military might, so we were only tackling that side of it. We were not in this. So this is where the difference is. I hope I could put some thought across to you.
You did, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Sir. Raghavji, you have to unmute.
Sorry. No, thanks, Manojji. I'll give a final call for any thoughts or questions. Dr. Pankaj sir, Manish sir, any thoughts, comments from your end?
I just wish to share one thought actually, because from the word go, what I was focusing on, like the simpler things. We don't need a very tech enabled mind or tech wired mind. So he is focused more on processes, people, and systems, right?
Yeah.
Incidentally, Captain Saab, almost 10 years back, I coined a word called middle line. So you have a top line and you have bottom line.
Middle line,
So I
yeah.
coined a word middle line, and this is exactly the same. It's a people, process, and system.
True.
So I mean, the way you applied, strategically all the resources and you map the production process, and especially the die part and all. Yes, we often feel like feel constrained. Like, yes, this is a very high tech product. We need a very high tech, say product. What do you call plant and machinery. But yes, we forget to apply a common sense, apply a common sense and human mind. Yes, it can be also done some other ways. So you have product patent, you have process patent, right? So
Yeah.
what you did actually, you deviated the process, you went to some other place, and you know that yes, it could be done. So this boils down to the very concept of mindset.
Yeah.
If we are determined to find solutions, we can find. Otherwise, we can, giving lame excuses, this and that. And then again, so it's a wonderful story, actually, wonderful journey. I knew a bit of it, but now today I was able to map everything. So
Just to add on to that middle line you said, I always keep wondering. The previous person who questioned the cost accountant, he would be able to agree with me. I don't know when we moved globally onto a human resource as an expense, not an investment. So I have not understood that. We never, all our accountants, all our finance guys look, everyone tells me, no, first thing you cut is the human resource. I keep telling them, see, these are investments. These are not expenses. I don't see them as an expense. Young people, they have got a huge thing to go. So I don't know that middle line somewhere down the line in the we got the worst of both worlds. We got the Chinese import world, and we got the wrong end of the American and European finance systems, where we say everything is about cutting costs on the human resource.
Am I audible? I just want to come in.
Yes, very much, Manojji.
So this is another nugget from you. Can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear
very
you.
Much.
So I have a background both in the post-mortem business of chartered accounting. Post-mortem, I would use that word. And then the other problem is the right accounting profession in this nation, because we need to move to a manufacturing economy. Everybody knows that. Right, our GDP, if it has to change at the ground level, manufacturing is the segment which is missing. If you compare India and China, especially, or is one of the problems has been the management accountants are not at all being employed in this nation in the way they should, because this is what we do. The competitive advantage of the country, the economy, the businesses, the manufacturing entities is compromised, right? And that's why I asked you. I was expecting to hear maybe there was a cost accountant involved in supporting you in some way, but you've done it all by yourself. So hats off to you, sir. And I'm completely with you on this. The comment you made, the Chinese inflow and the system where you also pointed out that the problem you faced was upstream, where the bigger guys. Now, what's happening in our system is we've sort of moved into a situation where the person commanding a big order or a supply capacity, they squeeze you, they dictate.
Yeah.
And one of the things they do, they have a team of chartered accountants sitting there. Blame it on them, especially the CAs, because they are sitting there to make those extra margins by squeezing out and probably destroying the ecosystem itself. Because they don't have a stake in the long term. Ek gaya to dusra aega. That's the thought process.
Exactly.
Okay,
Yeah,
which is actually destructive, and it has led to us not having the ecosystem where I think every company like yours needs like maybe 10, 20 entrepreneurs, because the flexibility you need will only exist in an entrepreneur, not in an employee or a MNC or whatever, right? When you're growing, you need flexibility. So these are the people who stood by you, and I'm really hats off to you that you've been maintaining that. You're taking good care of them. So this is how it builds, sir. And now you're inviting me into another area. So, sir, this looks like very personalized. Okay, so from your experience, we have to change this, and where do you see any glimmer of hope on how we can shift this mindset, where government is absolutely absent in this area?
Yeah, my experience has been is that you keep hitting the wall with the head continuously, on and on and on and on. See, wherever I speak, I sit and every day breathe a lot of air with a lot of finance people. So I've never heard a product discussion there. It's always about EBITDA. मेरा कान पक गया उसमें EBITDA सुन के. So I keep telling, see, product banaya, this is what now EBITDA will come. It's all a process which goes through eventually. But then no. I really am not very discouraged by the fact that this is the way it is. It's always a phase, right? Earlier we had great manufacturing leaders. Now we've got a completely finance-driven Excel worksheet management. So everything is about an Excel worksheet where quickly you change the number of personnel, then you got so many consultants, global consultants who keep telling you, "Acha, 20 ko 10 kar doge to your EBITDA goes up like this." Within a flash, they'll tell you. So, I keep seeing that wherever we talk, like you've come up, wherever we talk that the human resource has to be valued, I get a good response. Only problem is that we are so enamored in our own profit making that we just don't want to see the other side of it. Are we, like I said, live and let live is not the word here. Live and let die. So we just want somehow EBITDA laga do. Are we getting our community or our people more equipped to get into the manufacturing processes? Are we engaging with them? A lot of small things. So I'm sure it will be done. I for one never lose hope. So I'm hopeful. Only thing is, it's always a one brick at a time situation, because this country, every youngster I speak, any MBA, he only talks about billions of dollars. Every MBA, he only talks that this is a violation, billions of dollars. He sold out. That is the share value. I keep telling him, do you ever talk of a product, something? Is there anything? No. They only want to sit in the boardrooms, talk of billions of dollars. So I say, see, I don't understand all these things. And first of all, I don't understand billions. I understand only crores. So because I've been brought up like that. So billions is something which is as a construct.
That's a new invasion, sir. New invasion.
Yeah, it starts irritating me the moment I hear that billions of dollars and strategic and all those kind of terms. So anyway, I'm hopeful. I'm not giving up hope. I keep, whenever I meet a lot of my finance friends and all, I keep pecking away at this point. And reception is okay, but leadership, like you said, a lot more entrepreneurs and a bit of leadership, a bit of direction change from the top leaders. That is what a bit of more involvement with the ecosystem, maybe the way to go. Because I can do only so much in a small system. Thanks to Manishji, I've got a larger audience. Otherwise, I'm sitting in Hyderabad, I'm selling my stuff through gem portals, trying to get my payments. The railways, I write to the railway minister saying, your guys have not paid me for 1.5 years. So then the payment comes through in one day. The guy rings up, he says, sir, aapne kyun likh diya? I keep telling, see, I cannot deal with you sitting in some place. I don't have the bandwidth. And you pay up small orders, you take and you make us wait for 1 year, 1.5 years. You make multiple phone calls, no one attend. Government process and private process, the same problem. So, but still, we cannot, like I said, I bring up bullheadedness into the system that we will not give up. That's the only thing I can say. And there is hope. There's no problem.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sir. No, I think that's wonderful message to take away for all of us. We should not give up. And I'll request Dr. Pankaj to just share the concluding remarks. I know you've been silent, sir.
No, the discussions have been very engaging, and Anoop sir, hats off to you, so boil, toil and tears, that is what manufacturing has been. And I completely agree, that HR probably is the key factor here. So that is what we struggle with. We try to create good HR practices, good people to be there in the industry. So thank you so much for this enriching discussion. I would really like to invite you to IIHMR. So if you are ever coming to Delhi, just let us know. We would like to host you, sir. We will definitely like to host.
Thank you, Dr. Pankaj. Thank you. Will do.
Thank you so much, sir. Over to Radha.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And thanks again, Anoop sir, for sharing this journey, and really looking to hear more success stories and really making India China plus India. And thanks to all the participants who joined for this engaging session today, and really appreciate you taking out time today.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Well, thank you, everybody.
Thank you.